Continuing.
It's thinking.
Refresh. We believe in you too, Emily, if you can hear us. Buffering.
Woo woo. Thanks, Emily.
So 26 seconds. It should.
We're on. Chris says we're
Chris
on.
says we're on.
Alrighty.
Noise. We're back. I can't see myself, but I know you guys can see me, so that's all that matters.
We trust you guys to tell us if we're not on.
And he's in Florida, so that's a pretty good
So,
sign.
hey, we're in Florida.
Yeah.
Got sound and pick on iOS.
Then I'm just gonna close my computer and pretend that we're good.
Nothing
Um,
happens.
if the guy in Florida says
it.
we're good.
It's yeah.
Oh, we're all on the jacked up Wi-Fi right now, though, so that's good. All right. Anyway, let's roll.
Let's
Yeah.
do
Pretend like
it.
that didn't happen, guys.
So that was a good test. Glad you guys are on your toes.
Right.
Appreciate you guys being on top of it and following and watching. So back, man. We're back, man.
All right.
Wednesday. So this is your second game in a U.S. Open Cup match.
Yeah, so, well, we had a couple qualifiers that weren't actually part of the rounds of Open Cup. That
Okay.
was through the MPSL, the first try. Won those within the West Coast, got the bid, played against Kitsap. They did very well against us, to say the least.
Right.
And
They're
they
pretty
progressed
well
on.
established. They've been around
we
for a
all know
while.
that. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. And I think that in the past there was a big discrepancy with PDL teams and NPSL teams where they were much stronger. This year, I think we're kind of taking a little different twist to it, because now, given the reduction of PDL teams in the area, the NPSL has really stepped it up a notch. I mean, even Kitsap,
Right.
now they're
Yep.
in the NPSL, so that just shows that there's maybe a little bit of a shift here in the area.
Okay.
Not discrediting the Sounders at all.
Gotcha. I
in
totally get
terms
it.
of teams and strength of league, we at least have a Pacific Northwest league,
for sure.
right? With 6 teams. So this year, I think we're a little bit more prepared, to say the least. You know, we've got a much bigger college backing. Actually, that last time we played was the first time we really tried our college experiment of having college players.
Yeah.
They hadn't really trained with us. They came in and played, and you know, they performed well, but we were nervous. We were an amateur club, to say the least.
Okay.
Now, we're still going through our growing pains. You know, we're our 3rd year as a men's program.
Yeah.
The women have been around for 5 years. We're getting settled in a bit, and at least have a better sense of how to approach this, especially in terms of our player pool, who we're putting out there. We understand what assets we have. We understand how they fit together.
So
I think-
for those of us that like I followed OSA for a couple of years,
Yeah.
but some of them might not. Tell us a little bit about the relationship of OSA FC and maybe a club from Italy, and and how it went through the transition from OSA Tacoma to OSA Seattle.
Okay, so it started out as FC Tacoma, and the owner actually at the time had a youth system as well, in terms of having a youth club that he was trying to build. Now, for whatever reason, the youth club didn't pan out in Tacoma, and I think that we had a hard time affording using Tacoma facilities.
Gotcha.
So we ended up moving into Kent, but the owner basically has a good relationship over in Italy with Fiorentina, right? And so when we made that move, we also started bringing in some players from Italy, not necessarily from Fiorentina, but that played third, fourth division. And it's just a different quality of play there. You know, this last February, the owner sent me to Fiorentina to spend some time with the club. Yeah,
nice, man. How was that?
Oh man, it was phenomenal. I mean, first of all, I mean he was kind enough to pay the expenses,
Get you
because I
going.
could never afford a trip like that, and to spend the time there. In
How
a
long
beautiful
do you
city.
spend down there?
It was 10 days.
Wow, that's a nice chunk, man.
Yeah, but you know, so on the cultural experience, it was great. You know, I'd never been to Florence. Sorry.
How was the soccer?
Well, we'll get there, because this, you know, you got to take it one step at a time. But the city itself was beautiful. I got to experience that in between going through a lot of soccer things, but you know, the primary reason I was there was a coaching education experience. So
Gotcha.
I was, and the women's coach Malia Arendt, who is a awesome coach. She's a director at Pac Northwest.
Wow.
She went with me, and we were able to go into the academy and actually meet with the professor that came up with their curriculum, go through the you know, reasons.
Yeah.
You know, the idea of what they're trying to do at each age group.
Got it.
And how they're trying to progress their players. And so we kind of learned the methodology there. And then I was able to go, we kind of broke off. She went with the women's club because they actually have one of the first professional women's club there. And
wow, man.
And historically, Italy has been well behind the U.S. in that sense.
Right.
But they're catching up, and especially Fiorentina they got the best women's program. Their actually coach was the AC Seattle coach the first year they were here 5 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Now he's coaching in the women's Serie A there. They're winning that, and they're competing in the Champions League.
Man, this is like a really huge investment that the team and the owner is making to like get you going with what they're doing there to transition it to what the club is doing here.
Definitely, and I think that it's also important to understand the relationship he has with the club there because, he's done a lot of business with them. He's helped develop a school there that for the academy players because before they used tutors and it wasn't working out in terms of getting a holistic life experience.
Right.
'Cause, I mean, they even said it. What percentage of these kids are to move on to the next level, right? So he helped develop a school so that they were going to school with other athletes at a high level, but still other children, right? And they're getting a life experience out of it. He's had a bunch of different business endeavors with him. And another thing he did was while we were there, Hope Solo and her husband Jeremy, who are two phenomenal people I got to meet and hang out with while I was there. They were there promoting the women's game with Fiorentina.
Wow, man.
Yeah, so it was a good experience, and for me the biggest takeaway was obviously soccer, but I was able to get a lot of good things, friends with Hope and Jeremy, get cultural experience, eat some great food, see some great soccer. I mean, it was
that's
in
awesome,
10
man.
days. In 10 days, I couldn't have done more.
Yeah, that's dope, man. So now tell us about how it went from Tacoma to Seattle. What did that change or?
Yeah. So. The idea was when we were in Tacoma, obviously I had a hard time, and we've always wanted to move into Seattle. I mean, most of our team's based out of Seattle. Our technical director and other coach, Filippo Milano, who was the coach before I moved in, and we now co-coach together. Okay. He works in Seattle at Fred Hutch. He's a leukemia doctor there and researcher. So he does big things there. So, I mean, given the amount of time we spend in Seattle and our players spend in Seattle,
right move.
Yeah, it was the right move. Now, unfortunately, working for a home stadium in Seattle isn't as easy as having the necessary finances or anything. You're working with Seattle Parks, and there's a public use agreement and a joint use agreement with the Seattle schools. So, we've had a difficult time locking down a stadium to use.
So you locked a nice one for this Wednesday, man.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that would be the ideal situation. In the rain, we're nice enough to allow us to use the locker
that's cool,
room.
man.
And,
So how much are tickets?
So, actually, we have it right here. If you buy online, you can save and spend $10 for adults. U18's $4. U14 and below is free. If you're at the door, it's $15 for adults. U18's $5. And actually, we're doing a special promotion for this game that anybody wearing a Seattle United jersey, no matter what age, will get in for free.
Nice, man. Dude, this is like super accessible. It's a local, like, historic tournament. Make it out. Seriously.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing you said was grassroots. And
man.
And the longer I've been in this game, the more I've grown to appreciate the grassroots movement because it's the foundation, it's the base, and I'm a big believer that you got to have the strongest roots in that grassroots, or else the rest won't be able to build on top.
Gotcha, man. Perfect segue into roots. Now that we know about the team, we know what work the club is putting into their coaching pedigree. Tell us about your roots. Tell us who is Paul Auer.
Yeah, he's just a simple guy from Memphis, Tennessee. That's where I was born and raised.
Memphis, Tennessee.
1985 to date myself a little bit.
90s kids.
Yeah, that's
Let's
right.
go.
Grew up in the 90s. I spent a little bit of time growing up in Nashville, and the rest of the time in Memphis. I moved out here for college, went to Seattle University. It was about the time that I had a bunch of injuries playing soccer, and I was like, I need a break. Seattle, beautiful city.
Did you go to Seattle University on a soccer scholarship, or just
no? It was on an academic scholarship.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
What did you study there?
I studied finance.
Nice, man.
And at the
I'm in finance. Let's go.
Okay, cool. Well, I worked in the field for a couple of years. It was actually around 2008 when the financial
big crisis.
Yeah. And I quickly quit that.
You're not the only one.
Well done.
I found out quickly I wasn't meant for a office. Well, that kind of office job, I'll say. And so. I quit that.
Went back to soccer, I take it?
Well, first I took a little sabbatical and went and lived in Brazil for a while. My lovely girlfriend, who's here with us tonight, was nice enough to allow me to do so.
What?
So I should prelude that with my dad's from there. So I was with family.
Gotcha.
You know, I was trying to get in touch with the culture a
Yeah,
little bit
and
more
your family,
and
your
work with my
roots.
Portuguese. Exactly, going back to the
Obrigado,
roots.
obrigado.
Oh, de nada.
Yeah, that's
Você
all I know.
fala?
That's all I know.
Nada, nada.
Ugo's like, I'm good.
Yeah, so that's no mas.
Yeah,
No
good.
mas, man.
Good, because I don't want to go too
So how
in-depth
long
with
ago were you down there?
what was it, like 8 months or something that I was down there, and I
Like
was working
8 months ago, or
No, how long ago?
Yeah, how long ago?
2011 is when I got back.
Okay, you were there
Yeah.
for almost 8
Yeah,
months.
almost a year. Yeah,
Wow, man.
and I was working for a good bit of the time at a bar. Actually, I was the bar manager because my cousins owned the bar, and
Nice.
and it was that was my way to learn Portuguese. You know, the people that work in the service industry
Yeah.
aren't the most educated in the sense of knowing English,
Okay,
right?
okay.
And I don't think that's necessarily the way to determine education.
Right,
but,
right,
but for me, it was like, okay, if
It was
I'm put
lit.
in
You
this
learn on the
situation,
job, and it's like
I
real
have to learn
in the
Portuguese.
streets. Yeah,
Exactly,
man.
and so it,
Do you
it
watch
was
a lot of
great.
soccer while you're working
Oh
there?
man, I watch soccer here all the time. That's all I watch. You know,
Oh, my
that
God.
occasional
I'm so
Game of
jealous.
Thrones episode and soccer, right? And I grew up on that. So when I was down there, I went. I've traveled down there a few times. So
Okay.
I've been to some legendary games in terms of soccer. I've been to the São Paulo. I saw them the year they went to the Copa Libertadores final. I
Damn.
saw them in the quarterfinals play Estudiantes. They won in PKs. Rogério Ceni scored he was a goalkeeper. He scored the goal that set the mark that beat, what was his name, from Paraguay, the
Oh, my
goalkeeper that
God,
scored
man.
all the goals. So he beat that at the game I was at. And then I went to the finals where they played Internacional. And that was the year Internacional went on to win the World Club Championship. But even more recently, when I was down there last time, one of the last days I was there, Santos was in the Copa Libertadores when Neymar was there. And so I went and saw Neymar play against Penarol from Uruguay.
You saw Neymar play.
Yeah.
In Santos.
Well, so the game was too big for the stadium there because the
How
stadium
big is the stadium?
I want to say it's like 20,000. It's not the
okay.
biggest stadium in
Okay.
Santos, but São Paulo's just on the top of a cliff, like an hour bus ride on top, and they have
my gosh.
the Pacaembu is the municipal stadium there, and so the
Okay.
game was held there to have a bigger crowd, and I was able to get in with some Santos fan club. So I paid like $5 It was the cheapest game I've been to, and so much excitement. Watching Neymar,
Dude, that's crazy.
it was.
man.
That's when I knew he was something special. I remember one ball. It was like an 80-yard long ball, full sprint. Neymar with the man on him, and the ball stuck to his foot on the ground, and then he megged him. And I was just
Wow.
like, wow,
Wow.
wow, yeah,
That's dope, man.
yeah. And
So-
I know it's against a Brazilian defender who aren't
But
necessarily
still,
the most
no,
tenacious.
but still, look where he's at
how
now.
old was he too? He was probably 19 at the time.
What's
so.
a Brazilian defender?
A Brazilian defender is I think I equate it to a defensive center mid that's a loose cannon because you look at David Luiz through
I was going to say David Luiz, like guy who wants to come up to
Seriously.
take all the free
Right?
kicks,
Yeah,
and
I
you're
watched
like,
him
aren't
today
you the
receive a
center
ball.
back?
Yeah, I watched him today receive a ball in pressure in the middle of the field and try to turn right up, and he got away
Jeez,
with it.
man.
But
Because he's David Luiz.
yeah,
Pretty much.
But
yeah, right. So yeah,
Man.
yeah. So soccer's always been something in my blood. I mean, when I was 9 and the World Cup was here, my dad took me to the World Cup, and it was Holland versus Brazil. It was a quarterfinal match. It was actually voted the best game of the World Cup, where it was 3-2. Brazil won with a Bronco free kick. It was like a 40-yarder, 30-yarder at the end of the game. But I'm a big Arsenal fan, and it was because of that
So
game
now we
I fell
know.
in love with Dennis Bergkamp. He's kind of my role model as a
What
player.
was his nickname?
The Iceman?
Was it?
Well, I think they called him that because he was so stone cold.
Dude,
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
we're going to have
man.
stories for days.
Yeah, way more. Like way more. Quick question. You mentioned earlier, that I told you I'm from Guadalajara.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you follow in Liga MX?
Okay, so when I was in high school, I went on a trip. Our high school would go to Brazil and Mexico every other year, and so when I was a freshman, we went to Monterrey, and I was able to go see
Tigre.
a Tigres, but I was a Rayados fan because they played in Monterrey Rayados, and we were on that side, so I got this. I actually used to wear it under my high school jersey for good luck every day. I would wear that
Nice.
jersey because I had
That's
such a
dope.
good experience
Dude,
there.
that's so dope.
Yeah, the
Nice.
best part of it was going up to their facilities. I think at the time they had a couple Mexican national team players. It was probably, 2002, 2001, somewhere in there. But the this facilities were like a Buddhist temple in the mountains. It was just beautiful gardens with pristine fields. I remember seeing the foot volley court and just being like, that is where I want to live. They looked like they were having so much fun. The grass, I mean, I could sleep on that every night. It was immaculate.
Man, you are definitely a soccer head, man. Yeah, it's like it's in your blood.
Unfortunately for some, that's all I talk about.
Man, no, that's awesome, man. Passion is the best. Can't beat it when you're passionate about anything, whether it's live soccer, whatever it is. Sonarfeed podcasting, man, you guys just enjoy what you do. So then you could tell that you're enjoying it, man. So,
well, thank you.
It sounds like you're gonna have fun and you're gonna be ready for this Wednesday.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's all we can do. How can you put pressure on yourself for an event like that? That's a once in a lifetime experience. If you put pressure on yourself, there's no way you can enjoy it. Now, I'm not saying I'm nervous or any of that. I feel that, but man, I'm excited. First of all, we got a good squad. We got good relationships on the team. Most of these guys are my friends. I played with them, not 2 years ago, last year even, the first couple games before I transitioned into being a coach, I played with them. And to play against the Sounders U23, that's an honor. I mean, the Sounders, that's Seattle soccer right there. We're able to go up and compare ourselves against one of the great milestones, out there.
And their coach is like, we had him on the show. He's top notch, man.
Definitely.
The guy is well respected. He's gonna come at you hard, I'm sure.
Definitely. I know he has national team experience with Guam. I actually ran into him yesterday. I went and watched the U23s play UW. A great match. A mix of players probably for the U23, but afterwards I went up to Darren to introduce myself. He's like, oh, yeah, I remember you, because he only met me once, and he was like, I remember you, Paul. Like, duh, of course I remember you. I was like, oh, my bad.
Because he's that guy.
No, he is. He's such a good guy like that, and we had a great conversation. We even joked about both of us throwing on a uniform and stepping out there, but we wouldn't do that to the fans, especially after charging them. We don't want to do that, but it was a good conversation, and he said no matter what happens, if you guys win, he'll give us a scouting report of Reno, and we actually have Reno's coach's younger brother plays on our team. So I said,
nice.
If they win, then I definitely do the same.
It's a small world, man, coach.
It is
community, and that's what it's about, man.
Definitely grassroots and having that connection and the relationships. I agree.
So you talked a little bit, and this was fun because Ugo gets to just throw stuff in, and we're just going to sit here and listen to you talk, which is some of the best shows that we've had, or just when people are passionate and have a couple stories and things like that. And I feel like you've got 4 or 5 more in you, so we'll get to that point. But you brought up Fiorentina, and I'm looking at some jerseys and things, and obviously see the purple and the fleur de lis and some of the other things. So like is that driven by the owner of the club? That's where it all comes from.
They have a relationship and it's strong. Right. We when I was there, I was in the academy. I went out and watched. I coach youth soccer too, so I didn't only watch the Primavera team, which is their U20 team, and they actually have a U.S. Under 20 national team player on them, Joshua Perez, phenomenal player. I didn't only watch that, but I also
hold on. So they have a U.S. player on there?
Yeah, he's a U20 player, Joshua Perez. He's actually, if you look him up, he scored some pretty important goals in U.S. Soccer history. I think his dad is a national from somewhere in Central America. I don't want to misquote it. So I don't want to say exactly, but he's got a pedigree, and he's been over there for a few years. A really humble, nice kid. I love the way he plays. Same idea. He's just so passionate. There you see a lot of kids that are there, a little bit of an ego and stuff, and he just worked hard. People kick him. He wouldn't get in a fight with them. He'd get up and shake their hand and have a see, and it's good to see that. It's good to that sort of goes somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So he played for Chivas USA.
Okay,
in the youth scene, and then he's been with Fiorentina since 13, and it looks like he played for the big club once in the last.
He played against Inter Milan. He got his first shirt or his first cap. And he's not the only one. Fiorentina's actually known for doing it. Bernardeschi, Chiesa, these are all players that came through the academy. So to be there was an honor for that reason, I said, I'm in youth soccer, so I like to see that development. I've tried to coach every age group because I want to see what's the best way, and I like seeing all these different methods. But again, it goes back to the relationship the owner has with the club, right? And being able to provide that.
You have a 19-year-old American playing on a Serie A side. Even at one appearance or not, you're still there.
Man. Yeah, definitely.
That's a pretty big deal.
It is a pretty big deal.
There aren't a ton of 25-year-olds, let alone 19-year-olds at the end of the day. And he's been with them almost 4 years now.
Yeah.
In that system. So, That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
So you've gotten to travel a lot. I've seen soccer in a few different countries. I've gone in Mexico. I've gone in Chile. I've gone in Italy, and obviously in the U.S. and in Canada. And you see that there's a lot of similarities in like supporter culture and just stuff to do. Do you have favorites, like either favorite places you've seen soccer or favorite games? I mean, you talked about a few earlier, but
yeah, I got favorites. I went to the Amsterdam Arena and saw the Euro 2000 there with my dad, and that place. I mean, just Amsterdam in general, and
Right.
the progressiveness of the country. I think really
Stood
caught
out.
my caught my attention. But to go to a game there and just see the excitement and the enjoyment for the game and the respect for both teams at that time. It was a Spain versus, I want to say, Slovenia game.
Wow.
And Slovenia is not the best team or anything. I was able to see 3 games. I think I saw Slovenia twice, unfortunately. but to be in that atmosphere was really special.
Oh, yeah.
To go around the city, and then at the end of it, we actually played a game against the local pub team.
Wow.
I was only 15 at the time, but I was playing with my dad and his friends.
That's cool, man. So you've seen, what about supporters? Have you ever sat in supporter sections?
Yeah. So my family, when they built Moreton Stadium, my grandfather was a doctor and knew all the team doctors, so he bought 2 stadiums with our name, or 2 seats in the stadium with our names on them. So that's up in the supporters section of the Moreton, which is a pretty old stadium. So when I was
Where is it at though? The Moreton?
Oh, it's in São Paulo. It's São Paulo's home stadium, and I'm a Santista. I'm a Santos fan. Unfortunately for my family, because they're all São Paulinos. They love São Paulo.
Yeah.
But I went with them to that game, and it was a quarterfinal Libertadores match and a final Libertadores match. And I remember São Paulo kind of in the final went down early and they ended up getting a goal real late.
You know a lot about that this season.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And they got a goal. They weren't tying it 3-3 like the Sounders have recently, but they got a goal, and they still had the away match to play, so it was real big. And I actually had an American friend with me, and so I go and hug my cousins when they score because everybody's going crazy. And I look over to hug my friend, and he's 100 yards down of a packed stadium. So I don't know how they found this space where everybody put their arms on each other and started hopping, and they took off 100 yards the opposite way, and then they started coming at me.
100 yards?
Yes, 100 yards.
Hopping?
And this is like with no space.
Yeah.
I don't know where they found it. Somebody probably
100
got crushed.
yards.
and it's just like cement.
And then they start coming at me, and first of all, I can feel the concrete shaking and like the vibration of it.
It's like Toronto.
And they're coming at me, and all I knew what to do was
Wow.
like grab on and keep moving this way, or else I was getting run over. But it was something else, And that culture,
So that'd be if we would be able to swing it from 121 to like 130 or something.
Right.
all the way around the horn.
right, and,
Yeah.
and it's as packed, if not
Wow.
more. I mean, there had to have been
There's no
50,
seats,
60. Yeah, there
right?
were
So-
none. You're all standing up there.
Yeah.
So
It's like in Honduras. Just those like
Ooh.
blocks
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
cement.
I didn't get to go to that
The
one.
cement.
Yeah.
I wish I had.
Bench.
It's bench. like
yeah, right.
Dude,
sort
that's
of
so
a bench.
epic. Damn. I'm hella jealous.
That's good time. So, Open Cup, couple experiences
Yeah.
for you. Anything else like fun teams you played in, fun teams you've coached, like players you've seen from they were stars for 2 seconds and that have ended up playing for some other club in another league. Like anything else interesting, kind of in Seattle soccer scene that you've experienced?
Being in Seattle soccer, I didn't grow up with roots here, so I've kind of gotten my foot in the door and wedged myself in. But
Yeah.
I am in the youth soccer scene. I'm a director at Seattle United.
Yep.
We see a lot of players there. One I'm really excited about is Handwala Bawana, who's playing with us.
Yeah.
For
played
OSA.
for us2,
He played for
last-
us2.
a year and a half?
No, maybe the U23s. I don't know if he could play
No,
for.
he played
Played
for
for
us
us too.
too.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember announcing his name. It was not the easiest name to announce.
Yeah, no, I can
So
understand.
remember
How did that go?
Yeah.
So he
How do you
came.
pronounce his name again?
Handwala
Handwala
Bawana.
Bawana.
Yes, I remember him.
So he's actually a refugee from Kenya. He came here. I know so much because he played at our club when he was 11 at Seattle United, and then he moved
Wow.
into the Sounders Academy. I didn't know him then, but I got to meet him on the high school pitch where he was playing for Ballard, and I coached Ingram at the time, and we had a good team, but in 3A, and he was a 4A team, so we set up a scrimmage. He scored one of the nicest free kicks I've ever seen against us. And he actually did this the other night again against the Sounders U23. So I'm glad to see it's a consistent theme now that he's with us. But I'm excited to have him you get to work with him because he's an amazing talent, so mature for his age. He came from a very hard situation where there could have been a lot of excuses of why he's not where he is. But he came over as an 11-year-old, was the man of the house, didn't know too much about the culture and stuff, and he's so committed to the sport. Watching him play, he cares about every little detail. He's a team player. You know, we've had trouble trying to get him eligible because we have to do international transfer clearance. Well, he's a refugee, so you
how's that work?
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of what we told the USSF, and we were able to get him cleared in time. And when I told him, he's like, "Thank you for the work to get me cleared. I want to help the team and help you achieve your goals." Where it's not like he's doing it for himself; he's doing it for the team.
Right.
And you know, given that we're not the most prestigious organization, we get players that don't necessarily have that ideology where they're here to achieve our goals. They're mostly here for themselves, to use it as a platform, either to stay fit for college, to play at a high level, or to try to move on to the next level. So for him to say that really kind of struck a heart chord for me, because it's like, man, you're the real deal.
Yeah.
Well, that's neat, because then it's kind of like, this is why I do this.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day.
Yeah. To make those connections with players and go into battle, you know, and knowing that somebody has your back, it's your brother, and
definitely,
that way.
Definitely, and that's kind of the connection we want with all our players, and with me again on the youth side, that's the connection I try to build, and it's easier to get youth to buy in at any level as long as you understand them and are empathetic and show that you're there for them and that it is a game and to have fun, which is my fundamental belief. Is you got to remember it's a game, but to see, you know, to get a player like that and to be able to bring that ideology through a whole group and get everybody on the same page. And like you said, it's a battle. It's the only place where we can civilly go to war on a field and at the end shake hands and have respect for each other. You know, I think it's a beautiful thing. I think it's a beautiful
question.
thing.
So we're 45 minutes-ish in. We're going to talk a little bit of Sounders.
All right.
Yeah.
I think that might be a good idea.
Yeah, you catch the game. You watch the game on Saturday?
I was coaching, so I wasn't able to watch the whole thing, but I definitely
You're
catch up
cool
on
with
the
it.
highlights.
You're
Yeah,
cool.
I'll
Just don't go back and watch it. You're fine.
Just the highlights where
I
we
missed
tied.
it too,
Yeah.
man. I was at my brother's graduation. He got a college degree, and I went to his graduation, so I missed it too. But it was a good one to miss.
Yeah.
It was a good
So
one
there
to
was a
miss.
game.
Yeah, kind of.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
Not really.
Sounders on a field.
There
kicking
were.
a ball.
We think.
Maybe.
We think. No, it was pretty clunky, like as games go.
Yeah.
It just like nothing really happened
I
for
watched
the
highlights,
Sounders.
and I was like, those are the highlights.
Was it like 10 seconds?
Dude, it might
It
as
was
well have
short.
been. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
and
was the highlight of the non-call PK.
Yeah.
That
there was Jordy Dellum got a yellow, but that guy should have actually gotten the yellow. That doesn't
was
make any sense at all.
Yeah.
So that happened, and then a penalty, shocking.
Yeah.
And that happened, and some decent stuff from Fry, but otherwise it was crazily uneventful as games go. Like
Dude,
for
what is
everyone,
going on? Like,
it was just
we hold the ball great. Possession is great.
it was like you just came back from a 3-0 deficit, and that's the next thing that we get to see at home. Okay,
I'm glad I missed it. It sucks to say that. Like my coworker, a friend from work, not my coworker, but we used to work in the same building, and we email each other during the week a lot. He's like, man, there's only been one other game where I seriously thought about stop watching this. At the 65th minute, I was about to just stop watching. But I powered through it, but it was bad.
Yeah. I was in GA, and I had just come off of like a really long, 2 or 3 weeks, and I was exhausted. And it was the first time I was like, I'm going to be the idiot that walks out. I'm so tired. I didn't, but I was so tired, and it was just like, this isn't going anywhere.
for a noon kick when the team lost, the bars did real well. I mean, part of it was there was a double.
Yeah,
and
with
there
the
was a drunken
Mariners.
double with the Mariners, and it was Felix bobblehead night of all things. So the bars did just fine, and all of us, we were like, oh, it's 4:30, 5 o'clock, we should all go home. No, we're still drinking.
Yeah.
Guilty. Yeah. I had a rough Saturday evening.
Yeah, but the tifo looked good though. That tifo. So they had.
We were pleased with it.
Yeah, that was solid.
There are a couple things that changed. I mean, card stunts are hard. you know, and like putting up a card is one thing, like we did for the state of Washington flag a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
But this was like cards stapled together. We had to turn them over. We had
so the
two
red on the
text
back were
banners. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
2 text banners and 2 overheads. So there was a lot of moving parts. So it had to be like put up the red with the blank overhead, then flip all the cards, strike the first overhead,
At the
put
same
up a
time.
second overhead.
Dude, that
so like
looks
one went
intense.
back, the other came
That's
up.
a lot of work.
And then put the text banners up. And
I'm gonna see if I have it
it
so I can show it
actually
to you.
worked.
It did.
Which it's really hard to do, and I think for us it's, you know, you look at the section, and as much as you'd like to do 3 sections wide every single week,
That's a lot of work.
it's work.
That's a lot.
And
of work.
I can't find it.
Wide
it's
and
also
big.
like you
Yeah.
look. We know what attendance looks like for a noon Saturday kick
Yeah.
How
on
much-
a nice
what
day.
was- what was it?
It was a little sparse
It was
25.
everywhere. Oh, I mean, our official number is probably
33,
still 40,000, but
So
the
did
section.
you remember like when the Sounders won the championship? Toronto had like on their wall, like the case or where they were gonna put the trophy. You ever see that?
They have an empty trophy
An
case.
empty
They set
trophy
themselves
case.
for
That's-
up
and it
for
actually
whatever
says
they got.
MLS Cup.
But
It's
apparently,
just empty.
But apparently, it's been there.
It's been there for years.
For years.
Yeah,
And
but,
it's gonna
but
stay
someone got a
empty for
photo of
a
it,
few more
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
like right around MLS Cup time, and we're like, "That's a jinx."
Yeah, right?
And anyway, so it was literally like we took theirs, and then it was just empty, and then their text was, "Nothing is more powerful than a club whose time has come." And then you lost at home in MLS Cup, so we made the text say, "Nothing is more powerful than Seattle Sounders."
Right.
Oh,
So-
there it is. Yeah.
So before that, it was
It was red
in
with no text.
Or it was red.
Anyway,
Yeah. It went from,
it was theirs in red when they did
to
it, so it was
green.
like
Yeah,
mimicking
like their
theirs.
wall
like,
was red,
and
so we
they're like,
started
oh, we
it
know
with
this,
red.
and then ooh.
So that's a fun thing to get to do because you have to grid it out and figure out exactly where things are going.
How many seats, yeah.
People would really love to do the full stadium, and when you see like Barca do that, everybody talks about it. The club does that.
The club
That's
does that?
Not, oh
All
yeah,
club?
they might like have
Really?
a supporter group,
Right.
but the club sets
Puts
those
it all
things
up.
up. In fact, they tell you about it before they're even going to do it. So like that's the challenge with that stuff is for all like we could get into the stadium and it could start pouring and we could just go, we're not doing this,
Right.
Because the cards are going to get ruined or
Right.
whatever
Makes
the heck
sense.
it is. So it's just
And
it's
you're looking at
interesting.
the number of like people that are doing it. It's not
The
like
team will let us
thousands,
do it.
Yeah.
Like if we said, "Hey, we need 100 people to put cards and seats in the stadium," you can do it. The challenge is from the moment you put those cards down, then people start coming in the stadium. You start putting them in 3-4 hours before the match. People, if you're spelling stuff, people move cards around. They
Yeah.
switch them. Like the risks you take are really, really bad.
I could see that.
Yeah, so I mean, there was a college football thing where some teams tried to do some stuff, and like some people dressed or pretended they were the cheer squad for the other team, and then went and respelled something else. It was like Yale, and they like made it say something completely different. So like you're taking a big risk by doing stuff like that. So anyway, it was interesting.
Yeah, man, it was-
Unfortunately, the Sounders were not the most
It
powerful
was the highlight
team
of the game.
on
the T-ball, man.
right? You're like, that worked.
Yeah.
Like we know we can do it again. But no, it was interesting. So if that was a highlight, I'll take it.
Dude, it was a highlight.
Well, compared to what I saw on my highlight reel, I'd
It
rather
was-
see that.
Yeah.
Dude, no
It
question.
was just not good.
So I'm just gonna chalk it
Did-
off
did-
to just a bad day.
I know we all listened to Dave's podcast, but did
Not
you-
yet.
Did you listen to this? the
Not
one
yet.
He did
Not the latest
today
one.
or yesterday.
No.
It's really good. He is definitely a cup is half full kind of guy.
Shout out to our
Very
boy
much.
Dave.
It was.
Yeah.
It was where I was listening to it as I was driving up to. I drove up to Seattle today, back to Tacoma, and then back to here today. That was my day.
Nice.
So I got to listen to a lot of podcasts, but Dave's was one of them, and it was really refreshing just hearing him talk about how we're lower than we were last year, but look, we're actually playing well.
Way
You're,
better. Yeah,
you're
that's
going to
frustrating.
play a bad game. I mean,
Yeah.
if you got torched, it would be one thing. It was like you lost 1-0 on a penalty to Josie Altidore.
Right.
Like, okay.
So
The
as a-
worst part is, though, like they didn't come with Beta Shore
Right.
and
That's a-
Zavaleta
Yeah.
and
Giovinco.
Giovinco and so on. Like, and
They
there was
basically
another
beat us
guy.
with
So
their
there's
B
4
squad. They
starters.
Chris is
basically
still
beat us with their
watching.
B squad.
Chris, by the way, apparently has
Still watching.
access to the show.
Nice.
So It may be just the audio. We don't know. But anyway, for those of you that are peeking in, if you're having trouble seeing stuff, we are going to post the whole video later. So in case you don't see it.
The internet doesn't exist anymore here.
Yeah.
So let me ask you as a
broke
coach,
the internet.
what do you do? What would you do if your team is relatively playing well, but just they're not getting the goals?
Can't finish.
Bench them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, different things can be done. It depends on the circumstances, right? You got to be in there and know what's going on. And this year, unlike previous years, I think that they've at least got buy-in. And there's
From the players,
from the players to the coach, and they believe. And so you look at players like Ladero and stuff like that. You know that's not the issue. Commitment's not the issue. So it's a simple change. Maybe. I mean, I coach Seattle kids. The first sunny day, they always are having a hard time with the heat. Right? That's always an excuse. Every time it's sunny on the first time, I'm like, we're at a struggle today. We got to take it easy and conserve energy.
Well, or do they come in overconfident too when like a team's down 4 starters?
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't think they would. Like you guys are professional soccer players, but maybe I don't know.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, any number of things could be in play, but for me, I think that there's a sense of rotation that needs to happen at a certain point where you can give a player a chance and you can allow mistakes to happen, but at the same time you got to keep stakes somewhat high so that players are always feeling on that edge where they got to be performing. You know, and I think that in the past. I'm a huge Arsenal fan. I see it with Arsenal, so maybe I'm thinking back to Arsenal too much.
Are you Wenger
Wenger in or Wenger out? I got to say that I love Wenger and he's a role model for me. So
that means no.
So I'm not going to answer this question.
He's staying
Because I'm a coach too.
And my biggest conundrum with it all is if he's out, who's in? And if unless it's Diego Simeone or somebody like that, which is who I think has what we are missing and what we need, then we're just that fire that. Cojones, right?
Cojones.
That's right.
Great word in Spanish. Google
yes.
that.
You know, I think that Wenger in until we find that, and I think there was too much pressure this year.
So there's rumors that he might be going to Argentina to coach their national team, Simeone. That he might be doing
I wouldn't doubt it. And that's how they play. You know, when I was in Brazil and we'd play on the beach, we play the Argentines, and I was considered a Brazilian since I have my Brazilian passport. I play on Team Brazil, and we play the Argentines and the Uruguayan people, and they'd always tell me they're there to kick you. I was like, are you sure? Because I always hear you guys just dive, and they're like, no, we dive because they kick you. And they weren't right. They weren't wrong. The first tackle, 2 feet. You know, it's on sand, so it's barefoot, so it's not too much harm, but. But they play with that fire, that passion. They like to get stuck in. They'll play to win, you know. And I think that you see that in Simeone and his style.
Did you see the Mourinho comments after the match versus Arsenal, where it was basically like as many backhanded compliments as he could give, possibly like, let's make it all about me. Even though we didn't play that
but
well.
he set himself up for that going into it. That's why he played a weakened squad. He wanted his own excuses.
The comments were great. It was just like, I'm really glad that the Arsenal fans got to leave happy. When I was at Highbury, they left sad.
Yeah.
When I was at Emirates, they left sad. And I'm like, oh, shit. You can't even just be like, they played a good game and won. He's like, nope, I'm going to make it about me.
That's not his style
again,
at all.
Ever.
Yeah. I mean, that, you know, those ghosts will come back to haunt you. It has a couple times with him, right, in his career. And you know, who you are as a person shows on the battlefield, right? As a coach or as a player, it shows. And I think soccer is a great microcosm for life, right? Like you see emotion, you see how people deal with challenges, how you build relationships, you know, it's all there. So it's funny to see somebody like that, and he has changed. He has at least got his locker room behind him, right?
Yeah.
Like
it does feel different.
It's a little different when you project it out as opposed to projected in. And he's always been a kind of projected in and out kind of guy, I guess I would say. But now he's sheltering his team, and he's got commitment.
It's interesting. Like I wonder if that's just a Chelsea versus Manchester United thing. Like he could. It's not that he's not the show in Manchester, but. It's like he's still cocky doing his thing, but you don't hear like crazy shit going on.
But everybody that joins Manchester United conforms to their code.
That's the thing.
And I think
Chelsea
he knew
didn't have that control.
They're a bunch of egos and money, and you see that, and they have a clout about them, but it's different, right?
Yeah.
But at Manchester United, that's one thing since Ferguson they've always had is that way, that charisma, that belief, that knowing that they are a different level. And you know, you read biographies. I have Sir Alex Ferguson's biography because though I hated everything he did to us at Arsenal, I admire him as a coach. And he said that's the case. You know, the club's bigger than you, and you feel that when you get there. It's there. It's got history. You know. And so Mourinho wanted that job for years, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know, he always wanted it, couldn't get it. It
Yep.
was like the prized possession, and he conformed to get it. So it says a lot about that position itself for a man as egotistical as Mourinho. Yeah. And I'm hoping he's not listening to this.
He's probably like, use a bigger word,
right? But man, for him to conform to that so that he can coach there, it says a lot, right?
Yep, for sure, man.
Oh, Mourinho. We can talk about him all day. Yeah, totally not why you're here today. So, quick on Sounders. So, Saturday evening at Chicago. Schweinsteiger! The Bastian Schweinsteiger's new
They're
team.
doing amazing, man. That's
Strangely,
crazy.
right?
Yeah.
You're like,
Who would've thought?
and they're somehow good.
Yeah.
And then Kansas City the following Wednesday before coming back to play a really bad RSL team.
So for this Saturday's game, speaking of Chicago,
Yes.
here at Berliner Pub
Where's that?
in Renton, ahead of the curve. Let's go. No, seriously, join La Barra Fuerza Verde away viewing. We're going to have a very
6
special
o'clock
guest.
kick, right?
6 o'clock it is.
I think it's
I'm pretty
6.
sure.
I think it's 6 Pacific.
I will check the
But
internet.
we will have the 2016 MLS Cup in the house.
Wait, like,
So-
can you take selfies with
Yeah,
it?
totally. Take selfies. Just
Can you put your child inside of it?
no.
That already happened once, though.
I saw that once.
6 p.m.
Right, 6 p.m.
Get here early.
Get here early.
Jesse
get some
says
photos
5. I think it's
with
6.
the cup.
That's a 6.
It is a 6.
Looks kind of like a 5, but it's not.
No. Yep.
Anyway,
So
so 6 p.m. Saturday.
I'm gonna
yep.
hold this until it says 4
Barra.
hours and 20,
Barra Fuerza Verde.
4:20.
Get here. Let's watch that game.
That's another 30 minutes. I'm not gonna hold it for that long.
So we should do some Sonarfeed questions,
Yes.
and we'll have some fun for the next half hour-ish.
There's another thing that happened in Sounders News.
Which thing?
Ooh, what's this thing?
Oh, you want to talk about that?
That's why we're here.
Yeah, we could do that now.
Okay.
Do it.
Do you want to talk about it?
So apparently S2 is moving.
Oh!
Down south.
Just a little
Yes.
nugget.
Wait,
Just a
are
little
they
nugget.
moving to Tacoma?
Moved to Tacoma.com.
How do you feel about it?
I love it. I'm super excited.
Where do you
That's 'cause
live?
it's 9 minutes.
for my house versus
Yo,
31 minutes.
If Tacoma ever is playing at an awkward time of day or anything if they're playing down there as S2 or whatever they're going to call them, and you need a
Tacoma
place to
Kraken.
stay, you stay at Adam's
stay at my
house.
house.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
there you go.
I have an Airbnb.
Wow.
That's a big move, though.
Do you have a
It's-
backyard?
It's a
I
big
have a
move
backyard.
with.
Can we
I
camp?
have a cot.
having
we
a
camp in your
Cot
yard?
in my Orba front yard. Yeah.
But in all seriousness, S2 moving to Tacoma.
Yeah.
It's actually a great idea.
It makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, even though the commute for me doing the announcing over
A
there,
little longer.
It's a little longer. It makes a lot of sense.
I'll be
man.
able to go to the Tuesday night games
Oh,
since
that's
I
right.
work in Tacoma now.
Yeah, sit you down there.
It'll be
Or the random
a little
Monday
longer
games.
than Wednesday at noon.
Wednesday.
I wonder how much that
Gonna go take
stadium's
a
gonna
lunch.
cost, man. Put in a new stadium, 5,000 seats.
5,000 seats.
I thought it was
stadium.
15,000.
No, it's only
no, it's
five.
5.
5,000 seat stadium is going to be in the same complex where Cheney is.
Uh-huh.
And it's going to be, there's a partnership with Tacoma, with Metro Parks,
Okay.
which I
And-
just found out today that in 2014, they passed a bond measure that got them $198 million. And
Oh.
they've been using that to...
How much did you get of that?
What's that?
Zil.
How
I
much
just-
of that did you get?
None, unfortunately.
Nada.
I'm not a Metro Park. I am just a human.
Oh.
But yeah, so anyways, I don't know if any of that money is going to go towards helping build this out, but I would imagine that's what it's for. That's what it's earmarked for. They've been using it for like Point Defiance and Preston Way and stuff like that. There's 70 plus parks in Tacoma. Tacoma's like this big, and there's 70 parks
That's good, though, man.
in that one city.
How big is it?
That big.
So S2.
Yeah. S2.
They're going to change the name,
They're
right?
going to change the name.
To what?
And it'll
Nobody
probably
knows
be.
yet.
Not yet.
I'm guessing they're
T2?
going to have
Nope. I know.
No.
I'm guessing they're going to have a unique identity.
Tahoma
but
FC.
I heard something about a Tacoma Tide previously or something.
There was a Tacoma
Yeah.
Tide
Right.
plays what I've heard.
I could see them having, like, in the crest, Rave Green, or, like, they're
Right.
going to have some little
Tie.
call
Yeah.
to
Tie to the
Sounders.
Sounders.
But I'm going to guess it's going to be pretty unique.
It's gonna be unique. Yeah. Well, I was kind of inspired because this week the Rainiers were playing the New Orleans Baby Cakes.
Ooh.
I was
Wait,
really
what?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm a
The
Baby
New
Cakes
Orleans-
fan
the
already.
Baby cakes?
The Baby Cakes.
Can I get some memorabilia?
What is a
They're playing
baby
them-
cake?
I don't know. But I was told that it's a type of cake that you can get during Mardi Gras.
Is it like a
King cake and you
beignet or
baby cake.
beignet or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That makes sense.
But anyway, so I was hoping that reminded me of the post that Mike Standish wrote on Senator
Yeah.
Hart a few years back.
About the Kraken?
Yeah, and so
Oh,
I've
yeah.
been thinking about like Tacoma Kraken would be. That's
It's
my, that
Kraken!
has my vote.
We should
That has
all
my
be
vote.
linking to that right
Are
now.
you serious?
Yeah.
Like a crest with a squid with tentacles floating everywhere.
Buy it.
How amazing
Do it.
would
Dude,
that be?
Kraken Kanji would flip its
Oh,
shit.
Sponsor.
Shane would be
Sponsor.
like,
They
I'm
would open up
broke.
at Soda
Kraken
Spot.
Kanji is a great spot in
In the
Pioneer.
stadium.
I think that's a
Square.
no-brainer.
It's like
Yeah.
Chris says
Filipino,
Tacoma Taco Time.
Asian restaurant. It's just it's
okay.
clutch.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
Anywho,
Always looking for a sponsor. Kraken.
so big moves for S2.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Which is great for soccer locally, man.
For sure.
It sucks for the fans that
It does.
that are in the north end that travel from the north
Yes.
down to Seattle. But overall, it's a great move. There's going to be more fans in Tacoma. I
they're,
think.
they're gonna again. I hope that they
Yeah.
sell it out or have
Right.
thousands of people there.
Yeah.
But I think season 1 of S2, we knew it was going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, it was like $95 for season tickets. I think it still is if you're
Yeah.
if you have another ticket.
Still got one.
But at the end of the day, like it ended up overlapping with too many
Yeah.
other things. Like, didn't we
Rainy.
play within an hour of them? Like
One day,
last
yeah,
week?
yeah. There was a
Yeah, so like the last home game, they played at one time and we played at another, like the same afternoon.
No, not this season.
Are
but
you
we
sure?
Did it,
Not
we,
this
no,
season.
Yeah,
I
we
thought
did
that was
one, like-
last weekend.
No. They played Friday
because that
night,
wouldn't have been-
Cinco de
Oh
Mayo.
no, that's what it was. That's
Yeah.
right.
They
But
played
you're
it.
like what we had talked about was them being home,
Yeah.
There
or
was
them
a-
being home when Sounders were away,
Right.
and a lot of Fridays, and it's turned out to be like 2 Fridays, and the schedule
Right.
congestion has not been as good as we
There
all
was
expected it to
a-
It's gotten better this year.
There was one U.S. Open Cup game that was played. It might have been not against you guys, but maybe it was against Pumas. But they played a middle of the day game, and then that evening the Sounders played. So there
Yeah,
was one.
It was like 1 p.m. on
Yeah.
a Tuesday or something, or Wednesday. That other game.
No, I very much remember that because when it's like a
'Cause
when
you
it's
had
a-
to work.
when it's a noon or a 1 o'clock game. That means we have to be there at like 9 in the morning. Which
That sounds
I think I'm working
awesome.
here at like 7 or 8.
Speaking of which, man, this last Friday night, shout out to the game operation Screw It S2. They put out not even it wasn't even my idea. They brought it on their own. A Spanish music, Mexican music playlist because it was Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, okay.
And they made an announcement about what it really stands for, what celebrated.
Oh, that's cool.
And
I
we
don't-
did
I have it
Spanish
right
and
here.
English announcements during the game for all of the announcements, not just a few, including the goal the goal call. So we did the regular goal call and then a repeated quick version fire rocket of in Spanish.
That's super fun.
Yeah, it was cool, man. It was really
I had
cool.
my headphones on, so I missed that entirely.
Yeah, no, it was cool, man. It was big shout out to them for doing that on. And we had some people saying we should
Test.
do that for more games, so I'm always down for that. So is it
Good
hot
now.
seat time?
I think it's hot seat time.
Yes, let's do
Hot
hot
seat.
seat. Hot seat.
Hot seat time.
We've actually got the questions over on this side.
Perfect.
So yeah.
No
do we wanna
pressure,
just go?
but
Should we just
this
go
kinda
down?
So
makes
these
down
are
the
the
line.
show.
all super inappropriate questions.
Yeah.
Sweet. I got
So I hope you're-
inappropriate
It's
kinda like
answers.
Truth or Dare.
I hope your
Yes.
family is not watching.
We actually hope you
They're
are.
actually over
No,
there.
they're not.
They're right
We know
over
they're
there.
not.
So
Oh, okay, good.
so anyway, you're the worst.
I know.
So a little birdie told us that it was your birthday.
It is.
So
today.
did we like get you something exciting for your birthday? Did you get like another beer? or,
Oh,
like-
you guys have paid for
like a-
everything. What
like
else
a large
can you get me?
cake or something?
Let's go with a shot.
Yeah. So happy birthday.
Birthday cake shot? I don't know. Maybe that combines everything.
Thank you
Is
With
it
the
as
baby
lame as
inside
that
for
is?
a baby cake.
I'm gonna say we
Thank
go
you
a little.
A baby
little-
cake. I would love a baby cake because I'm interested.
I'm gonna say let's go with Happy birthday to
Oh,
you.
thank you guys. I'm blushing
Happy
already.
birthday to you.
I really should mute Hugo's mic.
Happy birthday, dear Paul.
Power hour.
Happy birthday to you.
You guys are awesome.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you
man.
guys so much.
Man,
Thank you
let's
guys.
go, man.
Yeah. I
So,
appreciate it.
Actual question.
Actual question.
And no pressure, but the people
well,
watching will determine how
We
awesome
should just
you
go
were by
hard.
these.
Let's just go hard.
All right,
Go,
let's do it.
bring it.
Here
Favorite
it is.
Girl Scout cookie.
Favorite Girl Scout cookie, the Samoa. Easy.
Oh yeah!
I thought you said it was going to be hard.
Let's go.
Give me something
Let's
hard.
Go. This guy's nailing it.
You're a traitor.
Already knew. I
Traitor.
did not. I didn't even give him a heads up.
What do you
I
want,
swear to
a
God
Thin
on that.
Mint?
Yes!
I think that might be the most smack talk we've had about cookies.
Love it.
So anyway,
What do you
Well,
want?
actually,
Thin
that's one of
Mints?
my specialties.
Okay.
If you see me as a player.
All right. Biggie or Tupac?
Oh, 3-6 Mafia. I'm from Memphis.
Wow. Flip the script on us.
Yeah, I can't answer that one. Sorry.
Wow.
I also got into the rap hip hop scene a little late in my lifespan.
so you'll be
so I
sipping
came back.
on some scissor
Yep,
tonight.
sipping on
So
some scissor.
I'm friends with Craig Brewer,
Okay.
who did Hustle and Flow,
Yes.
among other Memphis-related things.
Mm-hmm.
He's a super awesome guy, and I got to work with him on a project I worked at MTV a number of years ago.
Nice.
We did a music thing about the Memphis music scene, and that
Huge.
guy has told me a story or two about cool stuff in Memphis. So
Oh,
I've been there a
man.
few times for some
Okay,
things.
cool.
Nashville as well.
It's a party city.
Nash Vegas, as it was.
Yes.
So good times.
Okay, then we're going to do some shots because we're celebrating a birthday.
It's his birthday.
Yeah, we're going to go with the birthday cake. Yeah.
Yeah.
How many?
Cuatro.
Yeah.
Cuatro. Cinco. Cinco. Seis. Cinco. 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 Perfect.
Okay. That's going to end poorly. probably.
Sorry for anything
Adam.
that comes out of my mouth after that.
No, no. That's what everybody's
Just
stuck
make
around
one
for.
We'll get more views afterwards.
Actually,
Adam's
we
spending
probably
too
will.
much time on the list right now.
We'll go with taco.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to take Hugo's taco
Do
question.
it. Do it.
If you could go with one taco for the rest of your life, which taco would it be?
Ooh, I like the
Oh,
word of
al
that a lot.
pastor.
Let's go,
Hell
man.
yeah.
I love
Some
this.
pineapple with my pork.
Ooh, that leads us into the next question.
Yeah.
This is a new one. We're throwing it in. Pineapple on pizza, yay or nay?
Nay.
What?
Yeah.
You just said
Whoa,
that was
whoa.
four.
I know,
Damn.
but for me on pizza,
You probably like
I
Chicago
mean, I
style
agree with
pizza,
you,
too.
but that's a. That,
no, it's
That's like
because
an M.
it's
Night
because I
Shyamalan
associate the pineapple with the ham, and that's ruining my
twist.
pizza. For me, I associate the pineapple with the ham on the Hawaiian pizza, and it's just not my style.
but
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I
pineapple
don't
with
know.
pork in a taco is okay.
Yeah.
Pineapple with pork.
But they
call
cook
it
the
ham.
pineapple on top with the pork, and it's all
drippings
flavorful.
and-
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Okay.
But then when you get
Ooh,
canned
that's
when you get canned pineapple and pour it on a pizza with ham,
That's
I'm
why
just
you
not
don't
as
get canned
it's
okay,
not as
okay.
appealing. I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm with you. I'm totally with you on the pizza thing.
maybe it's I'm just being
I'm
too
just- I'm
judgmental,
just- I'm
but
just
that's what you
surprised.
wanted, right?
I'm just surprised.
I am
Fair enough,
surprised too.
fair enough.
But I get it. I get it. The way you put that, the way you put that down.
It was matter of fact. It wasn't very logical. I'm sorry.
No, man. No, stick with the guns. Makes sense. Makes sense.
Wow, so many questions.
I know.
What advice would you give to 15-year-old you?
15-year-old me, get it together, man.
That's it. Would you like have an
50-year-old.
intervention and be like, no, seriously? No.
No, I mean, 15-year-old me didn't have a plan, didn't have foresight. He just lived wild by the cusp.
So 15-year-olds.
Yeah,
basically.
I guess so. I guess so. And I wasn't very disciplined in school. Luckily, I was able to do it and not be disciplined. I wasn't, with soccer, I did it because I loved it. But I could have put more into it. It was like I was just a 15-year-old, I guess. Not committing to much. But now I find out that when you commit to something, especially something you're passionate about at 32 today,
That's it.
it's like if I would have found that younger, imagine where I could have been. Not that I wouldn't want to be here right now, right at this.
You're at the
place.
right spot.
Yes, exactly.
You're at the right spot.
But instead of coaching OSA, who knows?
You never know. But still, man,
Yeah.
we all have the past to take us to where we're at and where we're going to be. So.
Yeah, and that's my biggest thing is you can't have regrets, right? So looking back at it, every decision I made, whether it was right or wrong, it's at least been a stepping stone to get me to where I am because you can learn from
If
it.
there's one thing that I'm picking up, man, is that you are genuinely passionate about what you're doing, and and you're doing it for, in my opinion, the right reasons. It's not just of a career, but you want to have a connection with your team, with your players, and you want to have that sense of camaraderie where you're battling with each other. You're all together trying to make something happen. So that's cool, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Quick question here:
Go
if you
for
had
it.
what is the most influential purchase under $100 that you've made recently that affects your life on a regular basis?
Wow, that's
$100
a
or
really
less.
really good question.
We're gonna get like electric toothbrush one day, and it's gonna be amazing.
I think those are over $100 if you get a Sonicare
Nowadays,
now.
seriously.
Yeah, but that's an influential one.
I
'cause
haven't
it keeps
priced them
my
recently,
dentist.
so-
Oh my
bill
God!
down.
Speaking of which, I bought myself a Blendtec blender today
On the truck?
on the truck.
Yeah.
I bought it on the treasure truck, and I was like, "Oh my God! I'm so excited
By the
about
way,
this
for the
blender."
viewers or the people in the room, if you guys have not done the Amazon treasure truck,
Do it.
I don't know what that is, but I'll have to.
Yeah.
But
I
going
need
back
this
to your
lemon?
question, Hugo,
Yeah.
definitely a foam roller because I would not even be sitting up today without it.
Dude, those are so painful though.
I know that the pain. It's good pain though because it's a
it's not good
instantaneous.
pain.
It's
It is not
an
good pain.
instantaneous sharp pain and intense pain at the moment
Take a
versus
shot
a
and bite the
long,
lemon.
drawn out pain over the course of time.
tell us on the show.
We're
All right, we're gonna have a
just a second.
breakdown.
Okay.
Wait,
Shot.
Hugo, wait
Birthday.
a second. We have instructions.
Why don't you jump in here? You
All
probably
right.
need to be a little lower.
Right.
There you go. Perfect.
Let's go.
I'm already pretty low usually. I don't know. So you gotta lick the lemon, then you take the shot, and then you bite the lemon.
This is
So
hard when you're holding up a
take,
mic.
then
Don't
bite.
forget.
Lick, take.
Are we all
bite.
going together?
We're
Ready?
going. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, dude.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Lick, take.
Lick. Take.
And bite.
Tastes like frosting.
Tastes like German chocolate cake. Believe it or not.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Every time I've had it.
Even with the lemon, yeah. Wow.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
Better living through.
Thank you guys. You're no better place to be on my birthday.
No question. You'll never forget your 32nd. Let's go.
It's like 21 plus 11.
You are fired.
You are on point, though. the math there.
It's your turn to ask a question. You
All
didn't
right,
answer the question
actually-
yet.
Yeah, I did. I said foam
Foam
roller.
roller.
Foam roller was
That's
the
what you're
answer.
going with?
Yeah.
That's a good
Yeah.
call.
It changed my life. I didn't. I
now I
always
want
looked at people and I was like,
I
"What
have
the
one
hell are they
that's
doing?"
painful.
Thinking
Ooh.
they're all superior on their foam rollers. And then I learned about it, and I fought through the pain. And I tell you what, it's changed my life, and the fact that I can actually function from day to day as opposed to lay on the ground in pain.
Speaking of, did you give Hugo his footballs back?
Plural.
No.
You didn't bring my balls?
How?
I think they're still here.
Oh, okay.
You left your balls here.
Hopefully they're fully inflated still.
It's a.
I think
They were
they're
always
inside.
inflated.
Okay, you're not Tom Brady.
His comment reminded me.
Foot tennis ball like thing that you roll.
Oh,
It's a great
like
question.
literally
Yeah.
balls
Photo,
for your
though,
feet.
on
Yeah.
Instagram.
All right, so here's my question. It's a spin-off of one of these that I don't think we ever really ask too much. But the question is words or phrases that you overuse, but I'm going to change it a little bit. Words or phrases that your players say you overuse.
Well, I'm gonna just knock out all the expletives right away. We won't go there.
Okay, not those.
Yeah, not those words.
You were coaching against the right guy on Wednesday. Because
Right.
You're on the same page.
Yes.
Because that guy uses an expletive.
Yeah.
Hey, you know it spices
We
life
don't have
up,
a beat
you know?
button.
Us soccer coaches don't have the biggest vocabulary. We just have emotion and passion that we write
Let's
off
go.
of.
But do you have a phrase? Do you have a phrase or a word that you feel you overuse or your players mock you for?
My-
If anybody knows, wants a shout out here, that
Yes.
call it out.
You know, I just say so much. I just never listen to myself. I probably talk too much. So every word's probably overused. But, you know, I try to be positive. So I like the idea because I always try to compliment
Okay.
before I critique. So I'm always, you know, I want players to have their own unique idea, their own personality is what I
Right.
say. Especially at this level, you have to have that, and more so at the youth level, we've got to encourage that. You know, I think that's what's missing in this country is letting kids make mistakes, letting kids not rely on physicality, letting kids learn in that environment. So I'm always the first to say, hey, I like that idea. I like the
that
idea. But it was wrong.
I like that. I like
No,
that.
I don't mean it like that, but you know what I mean.
No, I got you, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, man. You guys do all the taco stuff already?
Yeah.
If you were on death row,
Death row.
what's your last meal and drink?
Yeah.
Easy. I'm gonna have a caipirinha with if I can choose a churrasco, I'll do that. That's a whole barbecue with Brazilian
Oh,
meats.
wow.
If I have to be like, no, it's got
No,
to
you
fit
can
on
do
one
whatever you
plate,
want.
I'll
That's
go
your last one.
feijoada,
Last
which
meal,
is
it's
black
all in.
beans, rice, pig's
Can you
feet,
say that again?
sausage, feijoada. It's
Feijoada.
yeah,
Dude,
it's
you had me at pig's feet.
yeah, yeah.
Respect.
Yeah, it's-
Respect.
I might put
You,
that
man.
post on the internet. Hold on.
Respect to
Overheard.
man.
You had
Oh
me at
wait,
pigs.
you had me at pig's feet.
feet.
That's going on the internet right now. Oh wait, you had me. Just
Seriously,
keep
dude.
asking
Pig's feet is
questions undistracted.
underrated
Pig's feet.
delicacy around.
Oh, it's so flavorful,
Yeah,
and you
dude.
know, I can't do it pickled. I can't eat it knowing what it is. But when it's mixed in the stew, it gets combined with the rice
So
and
the,
beans.
Our
and
version in Mexico is pozole.
pozole. Yeah,
So
that's
it's in
more of
the-
a soup.
It's in the stew, soup, with
Yeah.
hominy, with the pig's
Yeah.
feet, with the pork.
Didn't that used to be made with humans?
What?
Look it up.
No!
I think that's true.
No! I'm gonna block that.
Is Tom
I'm not
saying
gonna-
something?
Don't look
Don't
it up.
ruin that.
Is Tom
Don't
saying
look it
something
up.
racist right
Don't
now?
tweet about it. I don't want to
Nothing?
see it. I'm sticking with my pig's feet. You had me at pig's feet.
Anyway,
You had me
Yeah.
at pig's feet. Right here.
Yes, my new pickup line.
Do you have a
like
good
pig's
question?
feet?
That's a
you.
great
Yeah.
one. That's the next
I just wanna see
Sonarfeed
them
question,
keep going.
courtesy of
What's the question?
Coach Paul Auer.
Thank you.
Your favorite pickup line? Noted.
That is
We're
a
adding
really
that to the.
good
We're adding
question.
that. That is a really good question.
Hold
We're adding
on.
that to the.
I'm literally going to add that right now.
All right.
So then answer it.
Yeah.
Do you like pig's feet? I just answered
That's it. Okay.
Historical figure you identify with the most.
Damn it, that's the question I was going to ask.
Go with the next version of that.
Ooh.
Oh.
Historical figure that I identify with most. Man, that is a really tough one. I've never even thought of that.
Think of a coach. player,
Yeah, no,
historical.
that's immediately what I go to, but all the ones is historical. Do they have to be dead or are they still alive?
Either way.
I mean,
alive,
no.
dead.
No. Okay, so they don't have to be dead.
The better way to ask these questions is like, who's your favorite historical figure and why is it Abraham Lincoln?
Well, that was going to be my first answer, not because of the chops and the beard, but
Because it's the hat.
The hat. Yeah, no, I got my flat bill. That's not quite the stovetop.
Ooh, I have another one. Sorry, I'm just adding questions to you.
I'm up next, man.
You're taking all of
I
his
feel like the
questions.
pressure's on. I got to answer this first one.
We can come back if you need a minute.
As a coach, I kind of like. I hate saying this. You're all that hate me. I kind of like Bill Belichick and his style. Because
Oh, get out of here. It was great knowing you. Thank you for coming on the
I know.
show.
I know.
It was great while it lasted.
Which
It's the
which
cutoff
button do
sleeves.
I hit
always
for the-
got called out
Is
because
this
I
the
don't
stop
wear
recording
anything but
button?
sweats.
Which-
I don't-
which
I don't-
one-
I'm kind of
Which
a,
one's
a
the
gruff,
stop recording button?
I'm
Yeah,
a gruff
please.
person on the side.
Oh,
I don't really care
Belichick.
about what's
Oh,
out there. I
Belichick.
care about
That's why the internet knew you were
my
going to say
team
that,
and
so it
what's on
stopped
the inside.
working.
Now, what's on the inside of my team and what's going on there is way different than
Yeah.
those
No,
trash
no,
balls.
no,
But the original mentality of screw all that. Like, this is us. This is
Yeah,
what we do. This is
man.
what we believe. This is who we are. Take us
As
or
much as
love
I
us.
hate and despise him.
This is a good answer.
Yeah, it's a good.
It's like you thought about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Well, briefly, when you put
Just
me on the
now.
spot.
You took some time. So I'm going to spin off that question.
Great.
Which historical figure would you want to be in a bouncy house with?
Oh, nice. Ooh, in a bouncy house
Yep.
with a historical figure.
That was such a good idea.
That is a great one.
Whoever came up with it, it's
Thank
amazing.
you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Fully
I feel like
inflated bouncy
like
house.
You
whatever
can
I'm gonna
take a
say is-
minute and we'll
yeah.
come back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might
If
have
you
to
need
think
to.
about. I might have to think about that.
We will come
in
back
a
to it,
bouncy
though.
house. It's gonna come to me. I'm in a bouncy house with a historical figure.
It could be anyone.
Yeah, but there's got to be a rhyme and reason. You can't just throw anybody in
could
there.
be
Right,
John Lennon.
right.
Yeah, it could be, but why?
I don't know.
Yeah, he's
There
not
might be
cushy
strategy
enough.
He
involved.
literally just popped into my head for some
Yeah.
reason.
Like,
Well, see, the thing is, the bouncy house is fully inflated,
oh. So are we
not
getting ups?
deflated.
Yeah, just let it go.
Deflated.
Womp, womp,
Bouncy
womp.
house.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't work.
So we're coming back.
Oh,
We'll
I'll
come
throw
back
a
to that
new one
one.
that I just thought of right now because I'm looking at it. Hats, fitted or snapback.
You know, the snapback's hot, but I'm always a fitted guy.
Let's go, man.
Maybe
dude.
it's my unique head
No
size.
flex fit?
But if you look back here, I kind of got like this crater that the fitted hat fits nicely around, and it's
Trust
just
me, man.
snug. It's not going anywhere.
Dome, this
See-
big dome.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
See, for me, I have to go with flex fit because I only cut my hair like once a year.
flex
so I have to have my hat has to fit me throughout my entire
the hair gets bigger, you need to
exactly,
expand it.
Exactly.
I actually, if you look at my picture from the post you had, I had long hair not too long ago, and I was struggling with that. My hat started not fitting, and then I had nothing to hold the hair out of my face. Yeah,
you could totally do the comb over, the Hugo comb over.
My dad don't gama rock that hard for years. Rock that hard for years.
You just threw your dad under the bus on the internet.
Love you, Don Gama. Don Gama, no se agüite.
He's not watching.
Lo quiero un chingo. But dude, he had the classic for like. I'm like, oh my god! I used to be like, Dad, why you do that? Like, why? But luckily now he shaves it too. So.
Adam, it's your turn.
Yeah,
Drink
no
faster.
pressure.
I got distracted by thinking about
Beer.
jokes. Yes. What was the last concert you attended?
Ooh.
That was what I was looking for because I saw that
Ooh.
and he pointed it
Last
out.
concert I attended, it was actually the Grouch and Eli over at the Showbox, because like my old school hip hop, I guess, the underground.
There you go.
Yeah, and again,
That's one of the
again,
better
much
answers
like
we've heard.
Yeah, no, much of a lot of things I like have meaning, right? And I feel like a lot of their messages have some meaning. There's something there that I can relate to. You know?
That's 2 hip hop answers in a row.
Yeah.
We grime.
Quality ones too.
Grime.
I ran away from the country
Yeah.
for a reason.
So I've got a kind of a sub question to that.
Go do it.
When you buy music, do you buy singles or do you buy like a single song off of iTunes or whatever Amazon, or do you buy albums? Are you
Well, it
an
depends
album?
what you're buying, because
Are you buying
the
an-
modern day music is trying to sell singles. So if you're buying modern stuff, you're buying singles. Though I did buy, J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah,
I bought their
that
whole
new-
albums.
that
But
new
if I'm
Kendrick
going to
Lamar
like
is-
Sergio Mendez or something a little older, I'll buy the whole album.
So you
Who's Sergio
okay.
Mendes?
He's a Brazilian artist, composer. He does a lot of international music,
Sergio
but it's based
Mendes.
off of the Brazilian style. A lot of samba. He does a lot.
Is
He actually has one of my
is
favorite.
like a hit samba hip hop or
Well,
no?
he has one of my favorite albums is Sergio Mendez with Black Eyed Peas, and that's kind of a hybrid.
You've heard something.
I'm sure. I
Yeah,
have.
it's
There's
like the
no
Mas
way-
Que Nada.
that is not him.
He did
I'll have
Mas Que Nada. Yeah, that's him.
That's him?
He did Mas Que Nada with Black Eyed Peas.
Oh,
it's
there
all
it is.
Hip hop samba.
8 million? Wow.
Yeah,
I'll
there
have
you
to
go.
look
That's
that up.
Mas Que Nada right there.
So,
I'm already starting to move.
Let's go.
embarrassing movie that you've cried while watching.
Oh man,
That comes from Chris.
Are we going to talk about
who's
Harry
on the
Potter
internet.
then?
He's
You want to
in
talk about Harry
Florida.
Potter right now?
We can.
I
Oh,
did.
that's
I
what it's-
cried
it's a
during
thing.
Harry Potter.
Which one?
Which one?
You what?
Yeah.
You didn't?
He died. How could Harry Potter die?
No, you did?
Yeah. I'm emotional though. I cried this morning when my mom
Hashtag
texted me
spoilers,
happy
by
birthday
the way.
and had a message. I'm a little bit emotional. I try to hide it, but yeah.
Man, you know.
So
Still a
now
little
people
bit
should
emotional.
go to the match on Wednesday because it's like
Oh, I'm gonna
tears
cry
of joy
or, like,
or
throw a
tears
temper
of-
tantrum or
yeah.
something. Something
So
will
we're
happen.
getting tears either way on
Yeah.
Wednesday night is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Dude,
There's nothing wrong with
I'm not
crying.
gonna lie.
Bring
There's
it
nothing
on.
wrong with
I
crying.
cried
Bring
in
it on.
Lion
It's all
King.
good.
I cried in Lion
Yeah.
King.
I
How
cried.
could you not? Simba? Oh, when what's his dad's name? When Mufasa
Mufasa.
died.
Mufasa.
Oh,
come
man.
on.
Yeah.
If you didn't cry, you don't have a heart.
No heart.
No
Seriously,
heart.
so-
I didn't cry.
So at the game,
Like 20 times I didn't cry. Sorry.
at the game
You
on
thought about it
at
at
the game
least.
on
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Saturday.
Then you're human.
At the very end, Christian comes over. Seriously, he's walking right towards 121, and he walks right to the snake pit. And there's a little girl, probably maybe 8 or 9. He takes off his shirt
Well done.
and hands it to her.
Wait, is this?
Oh, you
Yeah.
cried.
Yeah,
You
I
cried.
was. She turned around and looked at whoever she was with. I don't know if it was her mom or whoever. She turned around and looked at who she was with, and she just had this gigantic grin that was like bigger than her face, and I'm just bawling.
Actually, the area just lost its shit.
It was like oh yeah. So
And
That's pretty
to
cool.
plug
It
that
was
one,
amazing.
Christian's brother Alex Roldan will be playing with us.
What?
Yeah,
You
Alex
didn't drop that
Roldan.
nugget till now? I see how you
we-
do
we
it.
got a little-
I
we
see
got-
how
we
you
like
do
to
it.
sprinkle it in and keep you guys on your toes. But yeah.
87 minutes later, he's like, oh.
By the way,
By the way, Alex Roldan is playing with us. I'm really excited to
How old is he?
have him. I want to. I don't know. He's probably about 20. He's played a couple years with Seattle University. You know, he's in an interesting situation where he's playing with Sergio, who's on the U23s of Sounders, and they're both incredibly talented players. You know, and
yeah.
again, Alex being
Roldan's little brother, right? I'm sure he hears that a lot. Like, I'm sure he thinks he has a lot to live up to, but I see the talent there, and I see the drive, and I see the hunger, and he's an interesting guy. He's introverted a little bit, and and I think he has a lot to offer. And I think if he truly commits to the cause, I think we'll get something good out of him. And he's a game changer. He's a game changer.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He's
Heard
a game
it
changer.
here first.
Yeah.
Game changer. Man, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Drop a nugget at the end. Just sprinkle it. Sprinkle it. I like it.
It's your turn.
All right. Let me go back to the
You don't get
list.
to go to the list.
you know the list.
You've
You've been here the longest. You are the
when
most
you-
tenured host.
When you think of the word successful, who do you think of first?
Oh man, the Brazilian national team, most winningest team in
Damn.
World Cup history. Successful.
Yeah, yeah.
They've been in every World Cup. Successful. But at that same time, I don't like to define success by results. So I think there are a lot of successful people out there that you don't see with the trophy. I see a lot of kids that are successful that went from nothing to be able to play because they took the bus 2 hours every day to training. That's success
Right.
to me. I see teams that go out there to win tournaments and they give it everything they got and they don't quit even though they're 3-0 down in the last minute. That's success to me.
Damn, I
it's
can tell why this guy's a
mentality.
coach, man. You are good.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, you're good, man.
But this is all things I've learned through experience and through obviously great mentors that I've had in life. But
Ooh, great question. Who's your greatest mentor besides your parents?
I got to push the bouncy house question aside because I'm still processing that back.
Get on it.
Yeah.
I have a couple great mentors in life. On the soccer end of things, I use Richie Grant as a person I look up to. He was the University of Memphis head coach. Now he coaches at UC Bakersfield. I actually still stay in touch with him. He's always a reference point for me. My uncle D is some people think he's actually my dad. We look a lot alike. He's worked with kids his whole life. He was one of my teachers and throughout my years of not doing homework and then sleeping in through classes and stuff, he was always somebody that supported me but motivated me to be better. And he's family, but he was more than that. And he motivated me. He did a lot of community service, and I spent a lot of time valuing that. And I had to do it because I went to private schools and we were required to. But it wasn't a chore for me. It was an experience because I was able to see his joy and passion and commitment to it. So those are probably my biggest ones. On the soccer fronts, Arsene Wenger is a huge mentor to me because I believe in his philosophy of it's not about money. It's about building a team. I don't think he does it in the right way. I don't think I don't know what it is. I'm not there in the back room. I mean, obviously something's missing, but I do believe in that family belief, that longevity that you need to have within a team, and trusting your players. I think it's huge. And again, at the end of the day, he's holistic. He doesn't think it's just about soccer. He wants good people in there, and I believe in that. And then as a player, I love Dennis Bergkamp, but one of my favorite players, just for my body type, was Abu Diaby. And unfortunately, he never played long periods of time for Arsenal. He was mostly on the treatment table. But my biggest takeaway from him was his ability to, under pressure, use both feet and use his body to shield the ball and get out of tight situations. And being a big man with good touch is hard to find, and that was him. So.
Great
I had
answers.
a really good Alexis Sanchez joke, and I didn't get to make it because you had a really good payoff there. I'm super upset about it.
I want to hear it now. What is it?
I was going to be like, you can't trust Alexis Sanchez. Do you see what he does with those shorts after he scores a goal? Look at that.
Fair
Pulling
enough.
them up around his
Fair
neck.
enough. But I don't trust him. Where's he going to be next year?
Not
Chelsea?
on Arsenal.
Nope.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Again, one of my many qualms with Arsene Wenger.
So,
No
bouncy
cojones.
house.
Back to the bouncy house question.
Back to the bouncy house. If I'm in a bouncy house, I'm looking to have fun, right? And I think there's only one person you can have fun
Dennis
in a
Rodman.
bouncy house with, and that's Chuck Norris.
Oh, that is a
You're
good
gonna see
one.
some moves you've
I
never
was gonna go
seen,
for Scarlett
and nobody.
Johansson.
I was going to go with Dennis Rodman.
But
All
Chuck
those are great
Norris?
answers, but Chuck Norris is
Norris.
going to bring the serious to bouncy house, and not many people can do that.
yeah. That's
It might
great
pop.
answer.
It will pop.
Because it's
That's
Chuck
not-
Norris.
yeah.
It is. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
One roundhouse kick.
He bounces the bounce house.
Yeah.
So I have one more question. Well, I think we could probably go around one more time.
Yeah, easy.
Last book you read.
Last
Good one.
book I read.
Please make it be like Archie comics or something.
No, it was
Yes.
actually a tactical periodization
Damn.
book for soccer. Something I'm into because
For dummies.
Yeah, for dummies. Yeah, it was an annotated version. It was a picture book.
It was in Portuguese.
I'm still working on my ability to read a full book in Portuguese from front to back. I have some literature to work through on that, but yeah, no, I'm very into what I do. Obviously,
Yeah.
I'm always looking to get better, and my biggest thing is the day I'm content with where I'm at is the day I'm done growing as a person and done, living life almost. So I'm always seeking
Let's
more
go.
knowledge. Yeah. So
Spoken like a true leader.
I read books like I read biographies. Dennis Bergkamp's Speed and Stillness was a big one.
Okay.
Again, because he's a role model for me.
Yeah.
Reading. I love. There's a book, Tuesdays with Marie, that
that's a good
that
one.
I'll go back and read, and it can
It's
be.
good.
Don't watch that movie.
No, I wouldn't watch the movie because just the reading
Because you don't
of
like
it.
crying that much.
Oh, well, yeah, fair enough. I'm accustomed to it, but no.
Tuesdays with Marie.
With reading it, you
Yeah.
can put it down and apply it to real life. I feel like because it is a real life thing. You're going through a guy who's dying and his experience.
Don't
and what
ruin it.
he
Don't ruin
thinks
it.
about-
Don't ruin it.
And we'll leave the rest for later.
Yeah.
That's the
Oh, it's only $8 on Prime.
Yeah, it's a small
go.
book. It's an easy read. Mitch Albom was an ESPN writer, so he knows how to read for the or write for the everyday reader. So it's a good one.
I like it.
To motivate you.
Questions from our audience? Anybody want to throw one?
You suck the audience.
No.
It's okay.
Ooh, good
What are your
one.
goals
Who
for the
invited her?
next?
Who did invite her? Who did? What are your goals for the next year?
Personally or professionally?
Both.
Yes.
With OSA.
Both.
For myself, as an individual,
Yes.
I'm stepping into a new role with my club as a director. I'm stepping into a new role with OSA as a head coach. It's to hit the grindstone and grind it out, and to not have regrets at the end of it, and to know that I put everything into it. And luckily, that's the motivation I have every day. I wake up earlier than I ever have. I go to sleep later, and I still have more energy than ever because it's a passion.
Yep.
Right?
No question.
Professionally, I want to get my A license in the next year. I just got my B in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
I want to again.
For our audience, what is the A license, B license?
The United States Soccer Federation licenses its coaches based on a grading scale.
Okay.
F being the lowest, A being the highest. A allows you to coach the highest level soccer. F is kind of like your rec coach, right? And so the
Right.
B license is kind of like academy style, leading into those top levels right before you're at either top academy or professional level.
Cool.
So at the A license, I'll either choose whether I want to do youth or adult. That's another reason I'm heavily into this OSA gig is because I can do my adult A license with it. So that's my personal goals. On the professional end, it's taking this OSA project and making it self-sustaining. We've never had profits. We've always had an individual investor. So at first, I'm trying to build a crowd base and fans. I think we have the players that they need that deserve support in the community. We are community based. We're a nonprofit. We're trying to show that we're here for the community, whether people believe us or not. I mean, we're not asking for much in return other than support. We just want to cover the costs and allow this project to exist without an investor.
Let's go.
So building that business end, and then on the field, achieving the same success we have in a much harder league. We've won the Northwest Championship twice, with only Portland Spartans being in that competition. Now we've added 4 other high quality teams. If we can do the same thing, yes, we've been successful. Last year we went out against Albion in the semifinals on the West. And then Sonoma, who we played, ended up beating them and going on to lose in the finals against Cleveland of the NPSL.
Wow.
So I feel like we're close. So if we can build on that success and though it'll be harder, achieve first or second in the league and move on. That I think that we've that we've set some good goals in that way. But again, I don't think that'll be determining our success, right? I think success is what you do to achieve that. What's your process, you know? So it's to define that process and get everybody to buy in and fully commit to trying to achieve those goals will be the big one.
Let's go, yo, the man.
Thank you.
You're going places, man. It seems
Did
like
you cry?
You know.
No, but it answered the question I was going to ask.
Well,
So you're
Sorry.
good?
Yeah, good.
No, that's what
Yeah.
you want, man.
The question was going to be like, what thing do you want
Yo,
to promote?
man.
But clearly, it's going
follow
to
the
be
coach.
this.
Yeah.
Follow
Right?
the
Like,
team.
this
Yeah,
is the thing
So what should
you want
people
everybody
do
to go
if they
to.
want to come out and see your team play beyond just Wednesday of
But
this week?
please-
So
please
don't
Wednesday,
so-
Open Cup at Memorial Stadium.
That's just the Open Cup, and we play in
Right.
the National Premier Soccer League. There's over 120 teams nationwide. Again, it's our third year in it. You want to follow us, come out and support. We play our home games for that, either at Starfire or Highline Stadium. Again, we'd love to have it at one location.
Highline Stadium in.
Like right near Burien, right
Let's
off.
go, Burien.
Yeah, that's your
Highline
spot.
Stadium.
You know it.
Dude,
You just wanted someone to say Burien.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Shout
I
out to
knew what you were
Burien.
leading to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you want to support us, buy a season ticket online, osafootballclub.com. We have information on how to buy individual or season tickets. Come out. We're always looking for sponsors. We need support. It's a nonprofit. We love what we do, and we want to just grow the sport and provide another tier for players to move up the ladder, another tier for fans to support grassroots soccer.
LFG. Man. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about.
That was fun.
Yeah, man. That was awesome. You're
Adam,
awesome.
Do you have
Thank
any
you,
thoughts
guys.
other than
you're man. I'm
that the
excited
internet's
for.
horrible?
I'm gonna be following
I
you.
hate
I'm
the internet.
gonna try, especially now that I know you're in Buren. That's for me easy. I live like half a mile, about a mile from that.
And I
stadium.
don't know if they told you, but I dropped off a couple scarves and season
Yeah, yeah.
tickets for you
Yeah,
guys.
we didn't get there yet, but we
Yeah.
got some stuff.
Swag.
So that's excellent. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, man.
We appreciate the
This was
support.
fun.
I
This was
appreciate
awesome, man.
the support on a personal
Yeah, for
level.
sure.
Shout out to Shannon Matthews who set this
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Good dude.
Friend of the show, Shannon.
Yeah, definitely a good dude, a colleague. Actually, one of my many mentors. I got him into Seattle United and coached with him. He had a team under mine, but he ended up being my mentor and teaching me so much, not just about soccer, but about being a mentor and being a coach, especially to
Yep.
younger kids. So shout out to Shannon.
Yeah, man. And shout out to you, man, for taking
Yeah.
time on your birthday.
Yeah, seriously.
To come and celebrate with us and share with us about this game.
Hold
So,
your
folks, make it out. Make it out on
Please
Wednesday. And follow the team on social media. Now that we know about some tickets, we're going to have some stuff coming up. Especially if someone wants to get some tacos and go to a game with me, let me know.
El Pastor.
Yeah, El Pastor. No question.
So
Yeah.
thank you
We're all
guys.
hungry.
I couldn't ask for a better birthday gift. So
Dude,
thank you.
that's awesome, man.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Say goodbye, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good night.
Good night.
Later, y'all. Yes.